21 after 3 p.m. CAT. Has the entertainment industry lost respect for the media? This is happening across Africa. We're seeing so many different instances where the media's voice is not necessarily heard or seen in the respect. You know, are we still even needed, man, for these particular interviews and live sessions and all of these things? Joining us now is Andile Mathobela, who's a journalist, to unpack this topic a little bit further. Andile, thank you so much for joining us. I think even, you know, when we think about the entertainment industry, I want us to speak about it holistically, because even when we saw, for example, the march with March on March, right? We saw our journalists being kicked and pushed and punched. What is going on with our journalists and the respect?
Thank you so much for having me, Poppy and Ntsako. And yeah, I mean, it's a very concerning issue. Over the past, I'd say 5 years or so, a lot of people are just losing respect for media, and it's obviously due to the rise of social media. And I think a lot of people just feel like they don't need media anymore to speak out. They've got platforms that they can use, and I think that's the main reason why. And a lot of them, a lot of artists in particular, they kind of like compare their following to the whatever platforms following, and they're like, yeah, but why should I talk to you? I've got 1 million followers. How many do you have? And I think that's just that's just a chat without them really understanding the importance of media. Yeah.
Andile, you're a journalist and you've been in the industry for a really long time. And I've been in for 25 years. Let's talk about responsibility and whose job it is to let the artist know how they should be treating the media, because we don't all come into the space with that knowledge. So whose responsibility in the ecosystem is it to educate the person coming into the industry as to how to treat the media and journalists in general?
I think it's an individual thing, you know, as an artist, it's your responsibility to understand whatever, you know, industry that you get into, like, you know, if you're a cashier, you don't just go there and start working the till, you know, you first become a trainee, someone trains you how to operate the machine, how to talk to customers, you know, until you learn the job, then you get the gist of it, right? So I think with artists in particular, they just create the art on their PCs at home,
Sure.
and then boom, you know, they've got a big song, and then now you are famous. And now they don't understand the business side of things. And the reason why I say the business side of things is that as an artist that just did a bit of research, you know, you'll understand that the reason why you would talk to a media platform is that number one, you need good PR and you need to control your own narrative as an artist. And number two, it's a business thing. You know, if you're on any platform, like now I'm on Channel Africa, if I'm here for 10 minutes, and let's say I need to work with a brand and I need to cost them, I'm gonna tell them, you know, okay, for the past year I've been on these platforms, and to be on Channel Africa for 10 minutes, you're gonna pay, I don't know, your rate card, 50K for example. And therefore I've been on certain platforms. Therefore, my value just by being, on media is this much. And then you have a good base to negotiate, right? So obviously as an artist, they deal with brands all the time. So my question now is like, but then how do you even have business discussions when you don't see the value of media? Because media is basically like your free advertising platform that you can use to leverage from a business side. So for me, just when an artist disrespects media, I'm just like, okay, so it means that you don't know, you know, the business model. You're just looking at it from one way of like gigs and obviously social media following.
Andile, as
Yeah.
journalists, we've been invited to different events, you know. I mean, we get invited
Mm-hmm.
to showings, listening sessions, you know, studio sessions. And, you know, it's either the event is a hit or miss based on the type of relationship that they have, you know, with the media. Let's talk about that, because whose
Yes.
role is it to facilitate that great relationship? We can say it's the PR people or the PR practitioners, but they could be doing a fantastic job, and then we have the artists treating the media badly. So ultimately, how can we also facilitate a better relationship between the media, the PR practitioners, and the artists?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, this is a very good question. You know, this happened to me recently, you know, so whereby I was requesting an interview with an artist, and then the manager told me, well, this guy is tired, right? And the manager was, fairly young. I don't want to be an ageist, but this is someone that was very young. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then I posed the question, what do I do because I'm here? And then the manager just said, well, there's nothing you can do. This guy is tired, right? So it's the manager's job to facilitate that and make sure that is happy. But then, then I posed a very important question to the manager, and I said, look, listen here. For me to be here, I had to pay for transport. I'm here with the crew. There's a videographer, there's an editor, and my time as well. So if I don't get this interview, I'm just going to invoice you guys. So who's going to pay me since you're the manager? So now the conversation immediately changed, right? So a lot of the people that are supposed to know what they are doing, they don't know what they are doing. So in this case, the manager didn't know or didn't expect that type of response because they
Sure.
don't understand, like I said earlier on, like the business side of things to say, I'm not here because I'm a fan of your artist. Yes, I support your artist, but I'm here to work. Money has been paid for, for me to be here. There's my time as well and all these things. And just because you guys are not paying for it now, doesn't mean that there are no costs involved. So it's the responsibility, to answer your question, it's the responsibility of the manager, it's the responsibility of the PR person, and it's the responsibility of the brand to kind of like sit down the artist and explain them the value chain of like, listen, this is why we are spending this money on this event. This is why we are inviting these people. And this is why it's very important for you to handle yourself this way and give these interviews because at the end of the day, money has been spent. And I think people only start taking you seriously once you start talking about money.
True.
Yeah.
So, Andile, let's maybe wrap up by chatting about what you would like to see in the future and where there needs to be a change. Because we are going into times that are obviously uncharted and we don't know what the entertainment industry is going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years. What is your vision and your dream for the relationship between entertainers and journalism?
I think entertainers and journalists should really understand each other's roles, right? And I think right now, a lot of us are blinded by social media following.
Sure.
We should ask the question, we must be fair to each other. We must ask the artist, why should I have you on my platform? And the artist should ask us the same question. And then we must start having those sobering conversations. Then we'll start to understand each other's values. So for me, I think, we kind of like need to understand why we need each other and why it's important for us to work together. I don't know the answer to your question like in entirely how to answer it, but I think we need to start having those conversations now to say, okay, since now we have this new player called social media, what does this mean for us? It's like in a relationship, the question is like, what are we? What's going on? I think I think we need to have those conversations now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us on The Upside. Andile Mathobela, seasoned journalist, joining us about how the entertainment industry has lost respect for the media. Hopefully, that is not going to be the case moving forward.